Jordan here with the Getting Bit Fishing team, and today we got Buddy Bussey with us here. So, Buddy, why don't you just go ahead and tell us a little bit about your fishing history here and your social media pages?
Well, I'm from Ohio. I follow along with bass and MLF. I fish across the state. Majority of it is Ohio. I fish Team Bass Extreme. I fish MLF Big Five Buckeye Division. Fished the Great Lakes Largemouth Series, and then this year I took on a part of being a tournament director for the Toledo Division, which is Toledo, Ohio. And I can get you more information if you guys want to know and want to learn. And it's a vast fishery. I mean, if you don't want to catch largemouth all day, if you're not doing very well, you can go catch smallmouth. But other than that, I run other little circuits. I try to. And you can look me up online on all my social media spots is Buddy Bussey. On
you got YouTube?
I got a YouTube account, but I haven't done anything on it yet.
What are you going live with there? TikTok?
I'm still on the learning thing, and I'm TikTok boy. I like TikTok. I have a lot of fun on TikTok.
So everybody, make sure you check out Buddy on TikTok. Make sure your mic's on for me real quick. Just look like, yep, we're good.
Right.
So the big reason we got Buddy on here today with us, he's here with the hog trough, showing everybody how to catch big bass. And Buddy knows his way around the rod bait. So, Buddy, if you wouldn't care, just give us a little bit of your how-tos on the glide bait. You gave a really good demonstration up there a little while ago. What kind of rod you use? Reel, line,
well,
tackle?
I'll start off. We'll start at the basics, the beginning. Your rod, because that's where you got to buy first. You don't want to go buy a line. You got to have a rod before you buy a line. So my rod, of course, is a MMA fishing rod. It's a 710 medium heavy. It's got a little heavier action tip. It's kind of a fast, but not all the way fast, but it allows you to get the hook penetrated in them and allows you to have the backbone to get them giants in the boat. And then I run a Shimano SLX with 20-pound line, and I run it on a 7.2 gear ratio because you want to be able to catch up to that bait when you're moving it and you're working it. There's a lot of stuff you have to do with the glide bait. You can be that type to just go out and cast it out and reel, but there's certain ways to run that bait in certain areas. And I run a lot of clutch glides. Here's the newest one they're making. This is a cheaper version that they make, but it is phenomenal. These dudes here are the OG. And look, I even got one in there. I think she was pregnant and had a little baby. But that's not a clutch. That's a little Storm Arashi swim bait. I just threw it in there to have fun because I like to play around with my baits and make laughs. So clutch is a good one.
So what time of year? I know we're at the time of year right now where you're hearing a lot about glide baits. What time of year do you prefer to throw, and what water temperatures you look for?
Glide baits are great between 60 to 64 degrees water. When it gets up in the high 60s and they're out off of their post spawn, you can catch better fish with them. But those fish are predominantly looking for bait because they just had their babies. They laid their hatch. Now they're out trying to refill. That's when you really want to throw them. I like to throw them around beds.
Okay.
Bedded fish because it's going to make them mad. You throw across them, don't throw it on top of their head. Get it across them, bring it back, make it do all kinds of stuff, and then just kind of kill it and it'll fall right down. It looks like it's nosing. These clutch baits will nose right down. It looks like it's a bait coming in there to eat, and they're going to scoop it up and they're going to eat.
So is there, whenever you're bed fishing with these, is there a certain color you're looking for?
Natural, 100% natural.
Just shad colors?
Shad. I mean, shad, there's differences, like right here. Okay, I'm going to break it down here. And I didn't bring my other one. I got another one that's all black. So when I'm in dirty water and I know there's bed fish, and you can't see them, but you can see the fish. With the new forward-facing sonars, you can see those fish.
Right.
Okay? 9 times out of 10, in Ohio, if I'm in clear water, I'm going to throw this up in the bed. If the water's a little stained or they're acting a little funny, I'm going to pick up this greenback, which is like a Tennessee shad.
So out of curiosity, we're talking about the clutch baits, which obviously for everybody listening, especially if you would have seen these clutch baits in the water, they are a really natural looking bait. But for somebody that maybe doesn't have $300-$400 throwing a bait, is there any other brands more affordable for glide baits that you think would obviously not be as good? But
right, I'm hearing 6 cents is making a really phenomenal glide bait now.
What about $40?
They're like $30, I think. I have a gentleman that I work with that went and bought like 4 or 5 of them, and he's going to be my co-angler link this year, and he's willing to let me try and lose one.
It's a pretty expensive risk, you know.
But I'm not even going to lose one of these, but it is what it is. We make them. You got to want to, that's another big key with glide baits. You got to not be afraid to lose it to throw it. And my theory is, just like I used to ride bulls, my theory when I rode bulls, you had to get off of him to get on top of him to ride him and to make a paycheck.
True statement.
So you got to be willing to get rid of that bait.
Yeah,
to catch them.
That is the I guess the heartbreaking part, especially whenever I was new as an angler. You get all these new baits and you hate to lose them, so you don't throw them probably where you should. But that's the honest truth is you get, even though you pay all this money for these baits, if you're scared to lose them, you're never going to throw them in the heavy sparse cover or the sticks or the rocks. And that's where they are. The fish, kind of like you, they hang out in their house. You know, fish don't just walk around all day on the street. People don't walk around all day on the street. These fish, they relate to cover where they can hide and stay away from other predators like muskie, stuff like that, and where they can ambush bait fish. And unfortunately, that's also where you're going to lose the majority of your baits.
Yes.
But, hey, that's the nature of the beast. If you're going to get into that, that's the nature of the beast.
Right.
So, we talked about the rod you use, the reel you use. What size test or what kind of line? Fluorocarbon monofilament?
I run 9 times out of 10. It's going to be a 20-pound fluorocarbon or bigger.
Okay.
I run Gamma fishing line. I mean, it's top notch. I used to run a lot of Seagar, but Gamma, it does not break. You pay the money and you pay for what you get. Gamma is bar none the best line I've ever ran. And I'm not saying that just to say it. I'm not sponsored by him. I mean, he gives me a little kickback because this and that, but it's not. I'm still paying.
Right.
I mean, it's expensive, but I'm bar none 100% Gamma now. There's no, we want to say it's not, it has like no abrasion. It does not, you can run that across trees. And there's got to be something very sharp.
We're big cigar fans here. What the Gamma line? How much does it run for a spool of 250 yards?
250 yards. I can't exactly say because I don't remember. I buy it by the 1,000.
How much?
It's $367 for 1,000 yards. Where 1,000 yards of Seagar is like 120.
Yeah, it's like $150, I think, max on Amazon.
Because that's what I used to get. And I ordered it straight from them. I had some bad outings with them. Tried to get it all fixed before I switched. It cost me more money, but now I'm putting more fish in the boat because I'm not having the issues.
So this would be a good moment for me to insert the fact that Gamma and Cigar is both available to Ohio River Outdoors. And anybody that checks out Ohio River Outdoors, they have 10% off deals all the time. Make sure you check them out because I can $300. Whenever you're talking $300 for 1,000 yards full, 10% off. That's $30.
Yeah,
that's one of those glide baits we were just talking about.
Yeah. You have that extra $30, you're in there buying glide bait. I bet they sell them in there.
Oh yeah, Doug. I don't know if Doug has the clutch baits, but I know for certain he sells the 6 cents glide baits. He has a couple other brands.
He probably has some New Berkeley too.
Well, he also not glide baits, but your buddy was talking about
Blue Rock.
Blue Rock, yeah,
Blue Rock. Jesse, that's my dude. Jesse Fritz from Blue Rock. Let me tell you, man.
Available at Ohio River Outdoors as well.
That's available there. I do know that because he just posted a live thing on Facebook the other day showing they just restocked them with jigs, 1099 jigs. Go over and get them. There's one reason why you throw a 1099. Because Uncle Sam's going to 1099 you at the end of the year. It's a non-given.
Yeah, right.
You got the little ones that are like 3/16, 3/8, and 5/16. Then you go to the XLs that are 5/16 and 7/16 and halves. Just
those lighter ones can be fire on the river.
I like a micro jig. I ain't partial to Blue Rock or anything.
So now we're talking. I discussed when you use a glide bait. is there ever, I guess, times where you might go from one tactic to a glide bait? Like, what do you look for? Let's say you're out there throwing a swim bait, the conditions aren't quite what you normally would go straight to a glide bait with. Is there ever a certain time the fish are acting a certain way when you think?
When the fish tell me.
So what do you?
When the fish tell me, when I look and I'm flipping that bank, and I'm flipping the bank or out in the middle, I'm watching my forward facing. I see these fish moving, and then I see them chasing. Well, you have these times when you bring in a jig or a worm, you're reeling in, all of a sudden the fish comes up, you're like, oh man, I should have stopped. That glide bait comes to play. Always have one tied on. You turn around, drop that rod, put that in there, and start making it do dance, do all kinds of stuff, and there you go.
So that brings a really good point. One of our buddies, Alan, who was on the podcast that we did recently, he's a big fan of throwing big baits when nobody else would. And some of the pros even pointed this out. This is a really good time for people to understand that whenever you have fish that aren't biting, and a lot of people want to pick up that 4-inch worm or that Senko, honestly, these fish are so conditioned to seeing that 3-inch or that 4-inch or that 5-inch worm, they'll follow it all day long, but they won't commit to it because they know that it's not food. They've seen it before. Whenever you throw out one of these right here, the chances are the fish have not seen a lot of. That's a meal, son. That's what they're ready to eat. And you will get that fish to commit to it. So honestly, you have a guy right here, not just us, the Getting Bit Fishing team, not just the pros that you watch on Bash U, but another guy here who's fished several semi-pro trails is saying the same thing. Whenever the fish aren't biting, throw a big bait out there. Grab that 7-inch Magnum worm, grab the big glide bait, grab the big swim bait. That's going to get the fish to probably commit.
And the other thing is, these fish are conditioned by color. Color is a big certain thing. And I ain't gonna lie, I throw a lot of baby brush hogs. I'm doing a new thing this year. I am not buying any more baby brush hogs. I'm gonna go 100% Swamp Pro, and I'm gonna throw that hogwash. That hogwash has little paddle tails on it for the legs, and the tail is totally erratic. I threw it up in the tank earlier, and I'm like, dude, it's nuts. It's going to be game changer.
That's another big advantage that we really should talk about in this video is working for the Hog Trough company. You have a tank full of fish where you can sit there all day long with worms or with crankbaits, buzzbaits, whatever, any new bait out there.
Catch a fish in a barrel, man.
So yeah, right? And you get to see how they react to it.
Yeah.
So, okay, I want to know here's the juice that we get from the Hog Trough guy. So this isn't the guy that owns it, so there's nothing official, I guess, tagged to this. In your opinion, the baits, the plastics you've thrown in there, which ones do you feel that you get the most realistic view from? Like, have you learned anything from throwing plastics in there? Like
plastics in there, yes. Oh boy,
what's I guess the one thing you can tell anglers that they probably don't realize?
That's a good question. I'm going to tell you, when it comes to doing something in that tank, the drop shot, any bait, drop shot. But you do have some baits that they won't touch. Color has a lot to do with one of them tanks. I'm not spilling the beans because I'm not going to say it. I know what to throw in there if the fish quit biting. But when the fish quit biting, I know what color to throw in there, and it doesn't matter plastic-wise, but there is a trick to it.
So, like, I guess whenever you finesse fish, like wacky worm, shaky head, what's your preferred tactic?
Me? Sure ain't wacky worm. I'm going to tell you that right now because that's like watching paint dry. And I told everybody up there in my seminar, I said, I have no patience. If I'm throwing a wacky worm, the only reason why I'm throwing it on drop shot. I ain't throwing it.
I was going to say, you throw a lot of drop shot up there, so obviously drop shot's probably your preferred finesse tactic.
Yes, now it is. The last 2 years, drop shots.
What have you learned from watching people in the trough? Is there anything that you're willing to share with us with the action? Or maybe how somebody might set it up they might not realize.
The action of the drop shot?
Yeah, what would you do? What have you changed? What have you learned to do differently from watching
I'm going to tell you what I learned 100% from doing these shows with that drop shot. It ain't about the rod. It ain't about this and that. The rod does the job. Don't go buy a rod that's a medium heavy spinning rod and throw a drop shot on it. Because it's going to be too heavy. It's going to be too. You want the rod to do the job, so you're not getting wore out. Then your reel comes into play. You want to reel it, the drag set just perfect. When you go to pull on that drag and you want to 7-pound max pull, and it starts spinning. Why? Because that leaves your rod to do the job of the parabolic when it's bending over. Then all you're doing is holding it. And you don't set the hook. You don't jerk off. Just pull and just bring them to the boat. Let them come to the boat how they want to come to the boat. Granted, they don't want to be there. That's why they dive.
Right.
But they know at the end of the day, at the end of the time, they need to relax and settle down. We're going for a boat ride. We're going to the land.
Yeah. So whenever you're throwing that drop shot out there, is there anything you've seen in the tank, I guess, movement-wise, or anything that you tried differently that you've learned maybe?
Just use the rod tip. Excuse me. Sorry, it's been a long day.
It has been a long day here at the Antlers and Anglers.
The rod tip does the job. I was explaining that up there.
So you just let the current and just kind of pull back to you.
Okay, if there's no current, no water moving at all you're doing is putting the rod there, and you basically like you got the shakes, and you're just shaking the rod. But what makes the end of the rod? That's where that light rod, that medium action rod, and a fast tip. That tip's going to do this. That's what does the job. If there's no current, if there's current, you can go to a little heavier rod. Not much, but you still want that fast tip because you want the parabolics and you want the backbone. And then you just sit there and eat your sandwich and watch your graph or watch your bait if you got that, if you're equipped to be able to do that.
So now you talking about watching your graph. Do you do a lot of video game fishing? Since you're a drop shot guy?
Well, no. No, but yes, I do now. If I'm in clear water, I will video game fish. If I'm not in clear water, and I find a tree down or something out in the middle of the lake, yeah, I'll do it.
So I know with your boat, with your Ranger, we were talking about your electronics earlier, but I didn't ask you. Are you all the ranch, or do you have a 360 on your boat?
No, I am 100% the ranch. I don't have no 360. All I have is active target.
Okay.
And I'm glad I bought it. I mean, I'm not sponsored by them. I pay for everything that I got. I pay for. I don't have nothing given to me. So everything I've talked about is 100%.
It's what you've learned on your own and what you wanted to put your money into.
Yeah.
So I guess with all that being said, tell us about your socials. What trails are you fishing this year? What do you have coming up?
BFL's Buckeye Division. Let's see, Team Bass Extreme. I'm debating on fishing that now. I'm not 100% because I don't have a partner right now. And then I'm going to fish the Great Lakes Largemouth Series with or without a partner. Plus, I got to run it. But there's enough anglers up there that will jump in and help me finish off, make sure it runs good.
Right. So, man, I wish you the best of luck this year. I appreciate you being on the video, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Hey, everybody, make sure you check Buddy out. Make sure you follow him this year. Full of a lot of information. If you get a chance to come watch him at the Hog Trough, he gives great demos. Thanks for watching the Get Into Fishing team, and thanks for checking us out here at the Antlers and Anglers today.